witches.
Hi, hello.
We're back.
I was
I say
trying
that
to
like
take
we've
a
been gone.
drink. Right. I was trying to take a drink and my little strap got caught in my chair, and so I was like,
That's gonna be wonderful for the people that watch the YouTube. Hi, Will.
I just wanted a drink of water. I haven't been drinking as much water recently, and my body is feeling it. And it's been super hot down
I
here, so like,
oh yeah, I've been
it's
drinking
not
a
been
ton of
good.
water, but I haven't been using my big water bottle because the straw part is annoying right now, so I need to find the other cap, and I
Mm-hmm.
have not made the time to look for it. So,
Yeah, what are you gonna do? I mean, who's got time anymore? We
girl,
all work full time jobs,
I don't got time for shit.
regardless of.
I spent like 3 hours working on my classroom today, and I am not even halfway done. Like, not even close. Just with setting up my classroom, not including like planning for the first day of school. Like, ugh.
Do you have like the first part of the year planned out though?
I have like what I'm going to do, like the general plan, but I haven't like detail
Sat down
planned.
and
Yeah, like separated it out by day. And I'm also one that like if the copies aren't made, I'm not done planning.
the
So
copies are made.
the copies are not made. Some of them are. Like, we're going to do weather journals. Nobody cares. But we're going to do weather journals, and those are printed for the whole year. Yay,
Listen,
me.
the fact that you work with kids like in various areas, like on the spectrum, various mobility areas, there are some people who become so obsessed with weather, and that's going to be their favorite part of the day.
It really is. And, like, it. It's not just weather either. It's like it's like a journal for the whole year, and it's got like if you lose a tooth, like if you're sick, and you like log all of that, and you log the weather for the whole
Oh,
year. So like it's going to be really exciting for them, but that's
that's
the
going to be
only
cool
copies that I
because
have
they're
done.
going to learn. Yeah, they're going to learn about. I don't like not necessarily writing down important things, but like they're going to learn
Data
about.
collection.
Yeah, they're going to learn like this is how a planner would work. You write down things that needed,
Yeah.
and it's called getting them ready for the world when
Yeah.
we
It
never
also
had
has like
that.
graphing in it too, like we graph the weather like for the month, and like it's cool.
Yeah. You
Um
know, I would like to thank my high school for not preparing me for adulthood and not being an organized adult because you know what they
dude.
did? They were like, here's your planner, take your planner, and then open it up, turn to this today's date, and then write down that we did this. And I was like, thanks, Captain Obvious. I could have done that. But I went 4 years doing the exact same thing, being told when and how to write it. That when I got to college, I was like, what do I write? How do I write this? Like,
Right. Yeah.
you
No,
you just get into the swing of things and you're just so used to it. You
well,
just
and
don't
if
even
someone
fucking
always tells you
change.
how to do it and they don't ever let you do it yourself, then you're never going to learn.
Yeah.
So eventually, after like the first couple weeks, that's going to be an on their own activity. It's going to be an independent thing that they're going to do, and then we'll talk about it. Hopefully that just
Yeah.
takes like maybe 2 weeks, and they'll be able to do that.
It's the same with like note taking. I have no fucking clue how to
Oh,
take note taking. I had like one very particular teacher who was also my dance teacher. She was also kind of a grammar Nazi. Like if you said something incorrectly, she'd like stare at you with like the death of a thousand suns and be like, "That's incorrect," and then tell you why it's incorrect. But I respect her because she was like my teacher in junior high before she moved to the like high school, and then I had her like 3 or 4 different classes other than dance, which I had every single year. So like I totally respect her. Name's Laura. Hi. Um, but she had a very particular way of note taking, and It was back on the little projector screens that would go on like a
Oh
clear wall,
goodness. Oh
and that you would like
gosh.
write in like wet erase markers.
Oh
But like
no.
her note taking style is not the way for me. But she's the only teacher that truly did notes like that. Everybody else either printed it out or either like just gave you time to do it yourself. So I never fucking learned. And I learned a lot of shit in growing up in Catholic school and elementary school. But and I excelled in all of my classes. I had straight A's with very minimal effort because of like leading up to it and like the rigorous schedule that I had to deal with. But like, what the fuck?
Yep.
There's no
I I
there's no
go to
note
Catholic
taking.
school. But yeah, I had one teacher. I am really good at taking notes because first of all, I'm just
Neurotic.
predisposed to yeah, thank you.
Hmm.
Okay. um
just put it out there. Just let it breathe. Just give it life.
um I am going to, yeah, I'm good at taking notes, but I had one teacher who was obsessed with teaching us how to take notes. So like and I think for the same reason that we are talking about it right now, like we would practice like how to make an outline. Like literally she would give us a chapter of the book and be like, "Okay, we're going to make an outline of this." And then we would make an outline. And like the first few times she did it with us and then we had to do it by ourselves, but like because of that, I'm able to like that really helps. That's how I take my notes for the podcast too. If you kind of look at them, like I make headings and I put things under the headings.
I tried that and that worked really really well for me, but I haven't used it since.
Well, you
I'm a
know.
very last minute kind of person, procrastinate. I have problems starting projects. Uh,
It's fine. It
I don't know
you
if that's
know
something my
it happens.
father passed down to me via mental health because he does the
Yeah.
same thing. And it's like, is that ADD, ADHD? Is that just anxiety? Like, what is it?
Like let's
And I
look
hear there's a
into
lot of
it.
anxiety on that side of the family. Thank you to a long lost cousin from Canada. She is detailing me all the nitty gritty details of my dad's side of the family, which I didn't know a lot about anyway. So like I'm thankful for because then I can actually be like, all right, well that makes a lot more sense.
Right.
But my mom's side's got the addiction side, so there's some fucked up
Oh.
shit over there too. But um, the um, anyways, I am a organized person in an organized chaos way. I know where everything is, a little bit of everything. And then what really pisses me off is when I have like a system in place and I like the kitchen. The kitchen's got like the drawers for like measuring tools or various other kitchen needs like scissors or whatever. The next one over we don't use just because we live in South Carolina and we also live in when we first moved in here there was like cockroaches and so we were like working to get rid of it. So we haven't really used our full like kitchen potential. But like everything's got a place. Don't fuck up that place for me or I'm going to lose it. So Will's trying to find something and he was like, "Where is this? I don't we have one?" And I was like, "Yeah, we have it. It's in this drawer." And he goes, "No, it's not. Where is it?" And I was like, "I put it in the drawer unless you took it out and moved it someplace when you didn't need to." And then he's like, "Well, I put the dishes away." And I was like, "So
Then
then you
where'd you
should
put it?
remember where you put it. And if you remember where you put it, then it wouldn't be a problem. But if you would put it back in the place where it needs to go, where I've shown you where we've done it this entire time, it wouldn't be a problem." And he goes and opens up the drawer, and I go in there, and I'm like, "Where is it? You fucking lost it. Where is it?" And then he goes to like some random ass location, and he goes, "Oh, here it is." I'm like, "That makes no sense. Why would like a measuring tool, like a little measuring cup, be in like a cabinet with food? Put it with the rest of the utensils."
I can't help you. I cannot help you.
Like, that's my organized, like, that's where I'm organized. My desk,
Yeah.
I'm not showing that because that is not organized. That there's shit everywhere. Makes no sense. Yeah. So
Yeah.
should I blame my upbringing or should I blame the lack that school just didn't teach me how to be organized without telling me, do it this way? Well, that doesn't work
Both.
for me.
I
Do it
both.
anyways.
Let's blame both. Blame everyone.
Blame everyone but myself.
Everyone but yourself. Everyone.
And
That's
here's the
wise
thing.
advice. Nothing is ever your fault.
Right. Here's the thing though. I have tried, absolutely tried to be that organized person that I've always dreamt of being. I have gotten planners. I have gotten like I have this little notepad to tell me what I am out of so I don't forget because I don't take regular notes. And when I take the notes, I forget them. And then I'm just at the grocery store like, uh, uh, what do I need? So I have these little cute little all out of pads for grocery things. Like, it doesn't work for me. I just don't keep up with it.
Every
It's
grocery
I'm good
smells
for like
like
3 days.
cinnamon
Yeah, I'm
organized by Miles of Meyer. Maybe I am neurotic.
yeah, well you're the Ravenclaw, so that's it. Like,
We also have like a printed out laminated spreadsheet of like weekly cleaning tasks, every 2 weeks cleaning tasks, every
see,
3 weeks.
I need that because I will sit there and mark in my phone. I'll be like, all right, because like with the cat's litter box, it's an automatic cat litter changing thing, and we change like the litter once a month. Technically, we do it just a little bit before once a month because she's on a urinary diet, which makes her pee more often. But like, I'll put it in my calendar, either forget to save it or just forget to look at it, and then like 2 weeks go by, and I'm sitting there like, "Ugh, do I have to change the cat litter box? When did I change it last?" And then I can't figure out where I put it even though I remember I thought I put it in my phone. It's not there. I don't know. Look, I've tried. I have tried. And
Yeah. No, I'm very type A. But you know what? I don't know, and what is not in my planner currently? This Sabbath we're about to talk about.
well, it's about to be. In a very disorganized way, we're going to talk about it.
It's fine. We're gonna talk
Because
about it.
listen, I was struggling with a headache today, and I also got tired, so then I went and took a nap, and I was like, am I ready? No. Will I be? Yep.
We'll make it happen. We'll make it
We're going to go
happen.
for it. So I got 3 books here that I'm using, and I'm also using The Wonderful World of Google. Um, but I got this Llewellyn's Sabbath book. It's one of many. It's a nice, cute little set. You can get it for like $90, or you can get like each individual books for like $12.99 each. Whatever suits your fancy. I don't care. I think it's a better deal to get all of the books for 90. But oh, fuck, I knew I was gonna forget how to pronounce it. It's here. It's here. Hold on. Lunasa. Lunasa.
Lughnasadh.
Lunasa. Don't Don't worry about the D and the H at the very end of it. It is Celtic and Irish spelling, so it's Lunasa. I am also there's a little blurb on it in my a spell book for all seasons. I'm really excited. I actually haven't looked at this book, and then I grabbed it because I saw it, and I was like, oh, I forgot I had this. Oh, let me flip. So I have my little tabs in there because I forgot my actual tab, so I had to find like random pieces of paper and a credit card to like put it in there. And then a blog site. Thank you very much to this blog site. It is Maven House. I don't know if that's how you pronounce it, but that's how I'm going to pronounce it until Maven's happens, and then I'll fix it. But right now, that's the way we're going. So, Lughnasadh is the midway point between the summer solstice and the um, nope, it's the midway point between the equinoxes, the spring equinox, in the in the in the autumnal equinox. See, this is what's happening. Um, So, and there's always a festival around this time of year, and it's mainly celebrated in, I mean, it's celebrated all over the world in various ways, but it is originally from Ireland, that area. It's very old pagan Celtic idea. Um, it is held at sundown starting on July 31st, all the way through sundown on August 1st. Um, some will celebrate this around August 5th or 6th because that's referred to as Old Lammas or the old style Lammas. And Lammas is actually more of a, I wouldn't say modernized way, but like when the Anglo Saxons came into like the Druid area of Ireland and northern England, um, it went from Lughnasadh to Lamsa or whatever. Lammas, not Lamsa, Lammas.
You got
Um,
it.
yeah. And it can also be timed astrologically to coincide with the point where Leo reaches 15 degrees relative to the position of the sun. So it is a festival in Leo, which I have a Leo friend coming up, and her birthday is coming up. Um, let's see. And Lunasa is mainly celebrated around this time because it you celebrate the harvest, and it is a festival of the um, I don't want to call him a god, but the old Celtic god Lu. Um, he was the king of a race of divine beings whose name translates as the people of the goddess Danu. Now, it is in Irish, and I do not pronounce or speak that, so I'm not going to attempt, but we've talked about it before. And if for those who don't remember, Danu was a mother goddess associated with the water, the earth, fertility, and victory. And with the help of Lu, Danu's followers managed to displace the previous caste of divine rulers who were portrayed in Irish myths as monstrous beings. Um, Lu was attributed with great skill in craft and warfare, and over time he became equated to the Roman god of Mercury. So that's cool. Um, and most of these things are going to be happening obviously in Ireland, but you can have your own festival around here. Indigestion, don't get old. The Celtic sun god, that's what Lu was, the Celtic sun god. um So the Anglo-Saxon tradition of Lammas celebrates the first grain harvest of the growing season, which is similar to like Lunasa. Um, Modern pagan groups, including Wiccan and practicing witches, often observe both of the ancient traditions, melding the elements from each into modern day Lunasa celebrations. So it originally started with the god Lu, but due to the time frame and all of that, it like became very of like the growing season and like the harvest season, to prepare for, I guess, autumn and winter. So then when Anglo Saxons kind of moved into the location, that's when they started changing it, but keeping similar. It's basically what Christians do to pagans. Um, so ancient Celtics actually did not have written history, so much of the Irish mythology is interpreted through the writings of Romans and later on Christian monks. And it's also probably passed down from like generation to generation if they do still like are heavily influenced by that. The Roman Emperor Julius Caesar actually likened Lu to the Roman deity Mercury, and as such, he is considered a warrior and portrayed as the god of craftsmanship, including blacksmithing and wheel making. There is a version of the origins where Lu wanted to throw a festival to honor his foster mother, who died of exhaustion from clearing the plains in Ireland for agriculture. And the other origin story is that it was a celebration of his marriage. The festival coincided with the first grain harvest of the growing season, and grains like wheat, barley, oats, and corn were vital for surviving the long, cold winters of the northern hemisphere, which is very true because nothing grows after that. Um, so the first harvest of the year was always like a thing of celebration because it was preparing for colder months and all of that. So um, and it wouldn't have been nothing without the Irish sun god Lu. So yeah, that's why they. That's a brief history of why they celebrate it. Um, so in this little Lunasa book, it talks about like the old ways of celebrating, and the new ways, but like I feel like a lot of the things other than like harvesting, um, like the items and then just celebrating having like a great feast. I feel like that's what they normally generally did just because there wasn't a lot of differences back in that time. I mean, you lived another day. Let's celebrate with a bonfire kind of thing. Um, but a lot of the original things have blended into it, into like current days. So a very autumn thing to do is kind of have a cookout. Obviously, have like get your grains, have a bonfire, and just celebrate with song and whatever. That's a very modern way of celebrating, and I mean, I fucking love that. That shit's great. Give me a Nassau fire, and it's great. However, back in the old days, they would also there was also chances of increased orgies, spontaneous
Huh,
orgies, not increased, spontaneous orgies. Um,
as one does.
yeah. So these festivals had to be separated into different areas of like the location of where they were celebrating to promote not doing that. I So, and actually, they used to do a 6 day celebration. Games and competitions were it's basically like a fair. So, like, think of your county fair. Um, and when does the county fair always happen? Late July, early August. So it's fitting. It's very fitting for the fair lifestyle. Um, but like there was always a great fair in Ireland that would happen, and it would be a 6 day event, and there would be like chariot racing, competition between nobles, spectacle games for women, and more. Um, chief occupations at the fair, so like who's the best woodworker, who's the best blacksmith, kind of thing. There were contests held for horse riding as well. So it was a proper fair. It was a proper event. Um,
I like it.
I know. I was like, man, that like looks fun. So
One of my friends went to like so the fair here is going on right now. Um, and Kayla entered her youngest in the pretty baby competition and he got second
I saw
runner.
that.
So, yeah, you know, competitions and awards and we're still doing it, man.
I love it. It's so fun. I was I was actually in not a beauty competition. I don't like calling them beauty competitions, but they're like the beauty queens. I mean,
Yeah, pageants kind of thing.
pageants. Thank you. Um, I was in a couple of them, and then when I was told to go do the 4-H one, I was like, no. Listen, I have a better chance of winning like something out of this competition than I do the 4-H one because I don't. No one at 4-H knows me. I don't know anyone at 4-H.
Yeah.
I was not involved. I didn't care enough to do it. I didn't have livestock to go show off. I wasn't about to like make a 4-leaf clover and go show it off. I'm not going to do that.
I always wanted to do like the crafting stuff because I thought that was so cool and my cousins did it. But, if your parents don't have enough time for you, you can't do 4-H because it takes a lot of time. There's lots to do
Yeah.
things.
I wanted to do the circus.
That
I
would have
wanted
been,
to
if
do
I
the
had been a
circus.
Peru person, I would have wanted to do the circus as
Yeah.
well. I don't
I
know that
wanted
I'm
to do the
coordinated
circus.
enough for the circus.
Obviously, if I would have started earlier, I would have.
Yeah.
But the problem is that my dad and my parents, let's just say my parents, know a lot of people in my hometown because they grew up there, they live there, no one ever leaves, it seems like. And my dad worked at Napa Auto Parts. So, like, a lot of people from the town would come in needing parts for their farm equipment or whatever, their farm, their anything. And he also doesn't really like socializing outside of having to do that at work. And he honestly just gets very anxious about it. I'm not going to say he hates it. He gets anxious about it because that's what it is, anxiety. And he told me that he didn't want me to face having the possibility of getting denied one of the acts in the circus. And so he was like,
You can't
I don't
fail if
think
you
you
don't even try.
yeah. He's like, so I don't think you should go because I don't want you to be upset if you don't make it one of the acts. And I'm like, as a 6 year old, okay, dad, I'm going to go cry somewhere else because I didn't get what I wanted, but okay. And my mom worked, like, she was the director of nursing, so she was working all the hours. I was in basketball, and out of 2 seasons, she only came to one because she worked all the time. So there was no hope there. And my grandma has like a leg condition called lymphedema where her like legs swell up and it makes it hard to move. She couldn't have done it either. So
Yeah.
great old daddy-o was my only option and he said no. So dashed my dreams. I could have gone and be a kitty clown. I told him, I was like, I could go be a kitty clown. And he goes, no, it's okay. You could get denied. And I was like, can't get denied from being a kitty clown. But I was 6. I didn't realize that until later on in life. And now I have a fear of doing shit like that because I was always told, like, oh, what if you don't get it? And then I was like, what if I don't?
Right? Nothing if you don't.
So that was
You move
deep.
on.
Yeah. So whenever somebody's like, why are you so afraid to get on stage? Like, why do you have stage fright? I was like, girl, let me tell you about this story. It is deep rooted 6 year old little baby Emily struggling for freedom to express herself and then being embarrassed at the age of 5 or 6. There's a home video of me somewhere. I did not think my parents could hear me, even though, like, those houses that when you walk in, there's like this central piece is like the stair, and then you can just go in like like every room is connected somehow, but just
Yeah.
divided by the stairs. That's how my house is. So when you walk in, there's like dining room, living room, and then you like go around, and then there's the kitchen with the stairs like right in front. Before it was the dining room, it was like a little like game room thing. Like there was like a TV, a little couch set up in there. Um, and there was also a computer because I was blessed with having a computer at a young age. Um, and I also learned what the internet was and the fact that I could play like on a boombox in front of a computer, pretend like I was a superstar. I was singing Britney Spears, and my dad comes around the corner with a camcorder, and then he starts laughing at me, and he starts showing everybody around the same video. And I got so fucking embarrassed because everyone was laughing. And growing up in a Catholic school with some bullying happening, you think laughing is bad.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
yay. Love support. It was a
Trauma.
it was, and it's not like he tried. It's not like he did it on purpose. He didn't mean to do it, but like,
Yeah.
ugh,
Trauma.
trauma nonetheless. Anyways, um, so it's really sometimes it's hard for historians to actually decide what part of these celebrations and these cultures are Celtic based or Anglo Saxon based, because as they started moving into the area and they kind of absorbed the holiday, the Celtic religion obviously wasn't just the Celtic religion anymore. It was more of the newer like people coming through. Um, so the exact origins and practices is like in history of it all is honestly very difficult to decide between like who and where because of the lack of written history. Um,
Right.
so they, when surveying the August Sabbath traditions throughout the UK, they often find that elements of both the Celtic Lunasa and the Anglo-Saxon Lammas mesh together, as would be expected. But there are still generations of the past combine the beliefs and practices of the different cultures to create the rites and rituals and fairs that time, people, and everything have learned to love. Um, And actually, despite the fact that all the Celtic lands became heavily immersed in Christianity, the pagan tradition of early August fairs has carried on, even over there. Um, and they call it Lughnasadg. Good old Utah. Yeah, Lughnasadg. Um, it's continued to be celebrated with public feasting and festivity. Um, it's always an agriculture or harvest thing. So whenever you think harvest and all that, I honestly immediately think of like American farms. I I don't know why I think American farms. I probably because I think of like the corn's got to be knee high by the 4th of July for it to be a good harvest, like shit like that. And I just immediately think American. So for me to think of like Europe and England and Ireland having such vast histories, having fairs that resemble our fairs baffles me. I'm like,
I get
they're
that though.
farmers.
That's because of the way that we were taught. Like we were taught that American history was the central history, like, and that everybody else was just a
Yeah.
bunch of savages when really they were there first. Like,
If we were the savages. But like it's absolutely insane how like different it is. And you know, I was actually talking to that cousin who reached out to me from Canada. I was because she was sitting there talking about like obviously like they're dealing with like an increase in prices like everybody is. But she started making comments about like other things and I was like, I'm not gonna lie, like in this you can call me stupid. I don't care what you call me, but like I honestly thought Canada had their shit together. They do, but there's like maybe one or two things that probably could be a little better. And I'm sitting there, I was like, man, as an American, all you hear about, and like there's memes everywhere about this, how Canada is like the older sibling, the like parent or something of the US, and they just don't want to associate with them. They're just kind of stuck to them because they got their shit together and America is literally a fucking dumpster fire. And we're just here. And I was like, so when you sit there and like say something about like the government did this or the government did that and you don't agree with it because like it's stupid or something, like kind of like what we like think about all the time. I'm just sitting here like it's not
right?
fun and games, like it's not great up there. What do you mean?
Right?
Oh, it was about the wildfires because I told her some of the like it's hazy down here and it's actually insane how like hazy it is because of where the fires are and how far down south we are. And I was telling her about that and she goes, "Yeah, well the government got rid of like they sold like they didn't like sign up. There's like a company that helps with wildfires." Your screen just like paused and like twitched a little bit and it freaked me out a bit. I was like, "Oh god, she's got a demon in her." Um Ooh, that scared me. Um, so she was saying how like Canada, the government like didn't renew a contract with like a company that helps like
Mm,
with like a it's like a water machine that helps like take out wildfires as it starts. Canada being mainly fucking forest. Um,
right.
so they have that, and they're like, yeah. So they got rid of it. So now they made ties with Hawaii and like another country or another state or Alaska, maybe. I don't know. And then she's like, so now we have like these little tiny things that put out like 10% of the original power of the water, and they can't like get the fires down enough. And like, and she's like, that's some fucking stupid shit that the government did. And I'm sitting here like, that can't be real. Like, you fucking lying to me. Like, no, Canada's got their shit together. Like, you ain't America. No, no, no. So, but then she's like, no, yeah, we definitely have some of our flaws. And I was like, sorry, that must sound so like horrible as somebody not American. And I was like, I feel like an idiot. Like I just feel like I don't know anything about the world.
We
Like
don't,
I
because
I feel like a typical like the stereotype American. That's how I felt. And she was like, no, I understand. I actually like took history, like American history, and like she like majored in it. She went to college for it. And so I'm sitting here like, well, why?
right, ew.
Why? Disgusting. Like you
Ew.
probably know French. Like, fuck, what? Like your mom's from Bermuda. Well, no, her mom's from Canada, lived in Bermuda, which is like met my great uncle, not her mom, her grandma. But like, why? It's so she's just telling me about like, oh yeah, I completely understand. I know where this state is because I'm sitting here like, I don't know if you know where the state is. I just automatically assume everyone knows everything about America, and I know they fucking don't because that's how we were taught and raised. Like I was
Right?
going through like some crisis of who am I? Fuck,
American.
I know. But yeah, so it's just insane how like they do the typical celebrations that
Fairs
we
and
do
yeah.
in America. So like
We're not that
it's cool.
different.
Yeah, and it's actually they actually talk about like the US in here too because it says the Cherokee, Creek, Choctaw, and the Chickasaw tribes celebrated the first of the corn harvest with a ceremony known as the Great Green Corn Festival, which actually a lot of the people in like original areas that celebrated this actually made like corn husk dolls.
Oh,
And that's a
okay.
symbol of Lughnasadh because of the various things. Um, and they also um, the book also mentions that one of the apostles actually made a comment about the first traditions of this, which is weird because normally they don't. But he makes an interesting mention of the first fruits tradition, relating the well known and common first fruits sacrifice to the body, life, and symbolism of the Christian Messiah Jesus. So, like, you harvest these things and you eat it to enjoy and like celebrate what you've done and what you've done all of this to like to further on kind of thing, which is similar to what the Christians believe that Jesus did. And like and you do that every time you take communion basically, which is why you do like a wheat based product and the wine because you got the fruit in there kind of thing. So
Huh.
it's actually kind of cool how this all symbolizes together, but it's not like Christians are like we did this first. It's it's molded into various celebrations, which is I think is awesome.
That is
um
cool.
but let's see. So celebrating today, obviously, it's going to be the pretty similar, if not the same. Um, Having the symbols and the colors and the elements of like autumn or like a harvest kind of thing is going to be your best bet for decorations. Um, and then gathering all your friends and families for like a potluck. That way you can celebrate the high point of summer. enjoy a cookout, feast, anything that you enjoy, and fuck, add a bonfire into that when it's dark outside, because why not? That shit's fun. And you can also do things that are, you can get like foods that are very grain based. So like get locally made beers. That way you can kind of promote obviously small businesses, but also get probably damn near close to the wheat barley kind of shit as you can get. Get late summer fruits in the area, rich wines, um, artisan breads to make like your what is it, like burger meat buns, kind of stuff like that. And those are just some ways that you can celebrate it. So the something too about August. August has a big ass full moon coming,
Oh
and
yeah.
it's known as the barley moon, corn moon, or the sturgeon moon. So because Lughnasadh was celebrated in August, it's obviously the harvest thing. So they made the full moon basically a harvest type of moon. Um, so just a little tidbit: when you celebrate the August full moon, this offers a chance to pause and reflect on what you've been working on with your life so far, and at this point you can kind of like, you can take all the things that you wrote down for like the New Year's, like resolutions or things that you wanted to see happen, and see what you've completed and see what you have yet to complete. And if there's things where you're just like, well, that's not in my like, um, I don't want to do this anymore, or that's not in the cards at the moment. Like you wanted to go on like some huge trip or something like that, and you just know that you can't afford it and you have to take that out. That's fine. Add something back into it. Don't just take it out and like lessen your year. Make it something more, because
Yeah.
as autumn approaches, it's the start of the school year. It's coming up to the holidays, and there's a lot of general hustle and bustle of the modern life as things kind of go from summer love and nights to kids go back to school. Obviously, like there's holidays coming, there's planning. So yeah. So taking this time right now to reflect on how your year has been will be a good time to kind of help you see what you have yet to do. That way it's not like October and you're like, fuck, I wanted to do all these things this year and I haven't done anything yet. So it kind of helps keep you organized and planning what you need to do. Um, and obviously do like a full moon ritual, but like incorporate those things into it to make it more about the barley moon, all of that. Um, Let me hide that. So, um, it's obviously a little too late for like planting flowers, but make it for next year. So if you want some summer flowers for your garden to like decorate with when like Lughnasadh comes around, um, I don't know how to pronounce these, so we're gonna go for it. Delphinium, or larkspur is what it's called. It is a beautiful tall flower that is available in several colors. The one that they offer is purple, but you can get it from reds and blues to yellows and whites. It is highly toxic and poisonous. It can be used in herbalist medicine in small amounts. It can help digestive problems and insomnia. It can also be used for healing, especially eye diseases caused by diabetes. So make yourself a tea. They also have an eye spell, so if you do struggle with that, get the spell book for the seasons. The next thing is dianthus. This is a summer flower with many different species in its family. Dianthus is also known as a carnation, pinks, or sweet William. I'm gonna start calling Will carnation. Carnation.
Oh,
So
he's
like,
gonna love that.
he's he's just gonna be like, great. one other thing that she can annoy me with. I
That
was
or he's
sitting
gonna
on
totally embrace it and start introducing himself as Carnation.
Okay, so earlier, this is a side note. This is a funny story, and it's about me, so I don't care. So I was doing jumping jacks because, like, I'm trying to exercise, get into habits, trying to do better. And Will's like, "Yeah, today's jumping jacks," and I just looked at him. I was like, "Okay, jumping jacks," and he goes, "Yeah, what's wrong?" And I was like, "I'm a thicker person with bigger breasts. Jumping jacks are not going to be great." And he's like, "Well, then I'll give you a choice to like go on the walks with us or walk over to the thing and do like 10, 15 minutes on the elliptical." And I was like, 100 jumping jacks in like 10 minutes or like on the elliptical or walking in 98-degree weather. All right, fine. I guess I'll do the jumping jacks. And I was like, okay, but I can't do it. Like, I have to hold myself in. Like, I have to suction cup myself. And so we were on the subject of that, and he started making, he's like, them things power you. They're your power tits. And he's like, you should change your name on Discord to that. And I was like, okay. And so when I went to go change my name, I only did it in one of the servers that I'm in. So like people are going to go to my profile and see like my actual Discord name and be like, that's weird. Why is her name this here but not here? And then everyone, it's going to be confusing. And Will's like, oh God. It's like, well, you're the one who said that was my name because they powered me because they choose what I do with my life. Anyways, carnation. There are 5 petals on the dianthus, and they are usually frilled in various shades of pink. Uh, Apparently, they have a spicy fragrance. Now, I don't remember ever smelling a carnation or ever actually wanting to smell a carnation, but apparently they're pretty spicy.
Interesting.
Um, Anything in nature with 5 petals or 5 stems can be used in magic. As the flower is predominantly pink, it can be useful in love magic in particular. Wow.
That face
Is
was
that why
fantastic,
Will's so
man.
sweet? Because he's a carnation. Um, The name Dianthus roughly translates as God flower from the Greek, as Dios
Oh
means God
God.
and Anthos means flower. Here's the thing I've noticed about this book, though. If you don't follow the Greek gods, or you just want to know a little bit more about the Greek gods, like, just know that this book is very Greek god based. Like, there's an entire section on like Greek gods in summer and then in
Oh,
autumn. And so I've
got you.
I there's no other gods listed thus far in this book that I have seen. But it's very, very Greek based. There's also an affection spell that you can look at. There is irises or Titan's glory. This is a summer plant whose name in Greek means rainbow due to the many different colors it is available in. The iris also has numerous species and varieties but this particular variety is most appropriate for us. Titan's glory has strong sword-shaped leaves and a full head of deep purple flowers. If you plant many together, the effect is stunning. The Titans are the forefathers of the Olympian gods, and we cannot underestimate their power and strength. They represent the old order, the establishment, as it were. Trying to fight the past can become very draining. At times, we need to accept the present in order to create a different future. That got deep. Oh. Um, so if you are trapped or in a situation in which you are up against many, the old guard or tradition, you want to bring in new ideas, then Titan's Glory can act as a mediator between you and your justice.
Hmm.
There is also a justice spell for you. Um, you basically can just like say a spell about it and then like put it like write it out or whatever, and then like put it underneath the vase, and that's like fine. Or you could do it whatever way you wanted. And then you could do it once a month if nothing has changed. This one's my favorite because it's an amethyst. And amethyst is my gem. Salvia nemorosa, or amethyst. It's also called the woodland sage. It has spikes of lilac purple flowers, and these plants look fragile but are actually very hardy, and bees and butterflies adore them. Um, this The salvia family is huge with over 900 species stemming from it. Both the herbs mint and sage are a part of this magnificent family of plants. There are many different varieties of sage, including white sage, which is sacred to Native American tribes. Another useful variety is also called the diviner sage. Um, while Salvia officinalis is a common sage used in cookery, clary sage is grown not only as an ornamental plant but as a source of essential oil. In magic, it is associated with vision and clairvoyancy. You can treat the woodland sage with the same way as white sage and create a sage stick from it to cleanse the air in your home. And honestly, if you are very you want to keep like traditions with like their own whatever without, you don't want to like impede on other people's like traditions, like there's a thing going on where you shouldn't use white sage because it's a Native American tradition and we should ask them if we could use it before using it. This is probably a good alternative for you if you don't want to use white sage. Um, uh, this particular variety is also excellent for connecting with elemental beings of nature, such as nymphs. Nymphs are divine spirits who are different from goddesses and muses, and just like the salvia, there are different varieties of nymphs. There are celestial nymphs, water nymphs, and underworld nymphs. The ones we are most familiar with are the land nymphs and the nymphs of the woods and plants. They are regarded as florists and protectors of the forest and woods. They are often depicted as beautiful young women. Did it just say continue on? No. Okay. And there is also a nymphs garden spell, some to like welcome the nymphs to your garden to kind of help your garden grow. So there's that. There's a lot of summer like spells in here to like bring forth a nice sunny day, take away the rain, give you all the sun in the world. Ask Helios for the sun, like all those kinds of things, and like growing the gardens. So there's that. But it also has a little thing about llamas. So it's a powerful day for both the natural and supernatural worlds. Lammas is the first harvest festival of the year, falling on the start of August in the northern hemisphere and the start of February in the southern hemisphere. Also forgot to mention that, because if you are in the southern hemisphere below the equator, you will celebrate this in February. And apologies that you're not celebrating it sooner. Um, it is also often called Rent Day, as traditionally land tenure and rights of pasture were settled on this day. So if you were buying land, today's the day. On Lammas, man, that Midwestern came out.
Lammas.
On that Lammas, on Lammas, it's probably Lammas, and I don't know. It was not only custom to offer the first fruits to the goddess Demeter to give thanks, but also to give her a baked product such as bread or biscuits. In many parts of the world, it is also customary to make gingerbread on Lammas. At Lammas fairs, which were essentially agriculture shows, so 4-H fairs for Americans, a couple could have a trial marriage that lasted the duration of the fair, roughly 11 days. If, after that time, they found themselves incompatible, they would divorce and go their separate ways. Today, we live together to find out whether a relationship will work, but in times of deep religious belief and spiritual law, this was not possible. The Lammas fair ritual at least gave couples a chance to see what marriage would be like prior to committing. Another belief
I
attached
have
to
so
llamas
many
is
questions about that.
right.
Lots of
Like,
questions.
what part of the world are we talking about?
Well,
Because it
and
sure as
like,
hell wasn't England.
right, just lots of questions about that.
Um, it's so the spellings in here is um, European, like when you don't have the U in some words for like color, they have the U in color. And they're talking about Demeter, so I would assume it's a mix in between there.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just the English, the like British spelling of things is confusing me with the Demeter and the Greek gods
Right.
spelling of things. So whatever. Um, Another belief attached to Lammas is that if couples suspected their child had been swapped by the fairies, then this is the day when the reverse could happen and the changeling could be replaced. So I think last time we talked about changelings for midsummer. Um, and today's the day if you're like, damn, my child's a fucking ass, or whatever it was. I want him back. You can do it. This reminds me of the story or the show You. Is it You? Or I know that's a show, not a TV, but like the movie where.
Oh, I don't know about the movie.
Oh yeah, you don't watch scary movies. Yeah, it's like
Say the TV show You, I do watch. I haven't watched the most recent season, but I do watch the show, but not the movie.
no, not that one. It's like about an African American family who's like terrorized, but they're doppelgangers. And there's like a world above, and it's the world we see, and then there's a world below, which everyone's got their own doppelgangers below, but they live two separate lives. Like the below, you eat chicken raw, like, and you are just you do whatever the above surface thing does, but you like it's like in like a clear or like a white hallway based everything. Like it's kind of animalistic in a way,
Interesting.
but it kind of reminds me of the changeling things. But okay, anyways, um, so there is a Lammas gratitude ritual that we're going to talk about. It's going to be the only ritual we're going to talk about because there's so many, and I feel like the harvest is all about being happy for what you've grown and what you will prepare for the thing. So we're just going to do the gratitude one. So for
Okay,
this, you're
good.
going to make sure you have a loaf of bread, some barley, and lentils on your altar. One of the symbols of the goddess Demeter is wheat, so try to represent this, perhaps in the shape of St. Bridget's cross or a corn doll. Also, place beer and gingerbread on your altar. Now, I feel like you don't have to do this if you're like a recovering alcoholic or something like that. Do like a root beer, same thing.
Yeah, there's
It's
always
still made similar ways, just
yeah.
without the alcohol. The candle colors for this ritual are brown, orange, yellow, and red. This is to symbolize that the sun is still strong, but the tuning of the wheel is now changing to the harvest. Summon the circle with salt and good intentions. And then you're going to say, Goddess Demeter, I call to thee. Thank you for these gracious gifts. Grant us a bountiful harvest. May our oats be plenty and our wheat free of tares. Tares is an old term for weeds. Then you're going to share the gingerbread and beer, giving thanks to the goddess by raising your glass to her. And during this gratitude ritual, you can also perform healing spells for the earth, including for both flora and fauna. Um, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So, but there's actually a little bit more. So we talked about Lou. We talked about some of the goddesses of summer. But did you know there's a lot more of summer? Which
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
it's, but
There's a
then
lot.
I'm like, where's the goddesses of autumn and winter and all of that? But again, this is very Greek based. Um, but what is it? So there are many tiers of gods in the ancient Greek world. But in magic, numbers are highly significant and hold all manner of meanings. In this case, the number 12 can be used to relate to the 12 months of the year, but it also has a symbolic number of the divine. It is the number of completion, a full circle. So, according to Greek mythology, the 12 Olympians are the major deities of the Greek pantheon who reside on Mount Olympus. There's some debate about which gods are included. Hades is commonly believed not to be a part of the original 12. Um, and others believe that Hestia, who is the goddess of hearth and home, which you would think would be a part of this, gave up her Olympian seat to Dionysus, so she has some claim. But basically, the gods of the summer are Aphrodite, Apollo, Ares, Artemis, Athena, Demeter, um, Dionysus, Hephaestus, Hera, Hermes, Poseidon, and Zeus. And then all the other gods that Zeus decided to go with is somewhere in there.
Okay.
Um, So those are the gods of Lunasa, or the summer, I guess. Um, but some other symbols, if you don't want to do based on like Greek world and you want to go more of the original um, Celtic version, your deities are going to be Lu, Ceres, and Vesta. Get some sunflowers in there. Symbols, make some corn dolls, get some wheat bread, a cauldron, corn, herbs, a sickle, a scythe, any of the threshing tools. For your stones, you're going to want to pick a citrine, peridot, carnelian, gold topaz, clear quartz, or an amber, which amber is extremely expensive in America. So, like, maybe don't always get amber unless you get it for a cheap price. Because that, like, literally, if you just go to the Baltics, it's so cheap over there. And then you come back here and it's like $300 for a tiny little piece. And it's like, what the fuck? Anyways, foods, grapes, wine, beer, bread, grains, blackberries, pears, raspberries, black currants. Currants? Is that how you. Currants?
I always say currants, but I don't know.
I don't know. And corn, and obviously bask in the yellow, orange, gold, and green. It's very Irish, like symbols. I'm loving it. But yeah, so that's Lunasa.
Nice. I like it. It's coming up
I know. Next week.
next week.
Yay. All right.
Yay.
Until
All right.
next
Well, that was
time.
awesome. Thanks. Oh, bye.
Oh, sorry. Go ahead. Continue.
Say thanks, Emily, for doing all that
You're
research for
welcome.
us.
You're welcome. Happy to do it. Happy to do it in my chaoticness. I love it. Okay. Until next time.